Throughout history, it's been rare for a country to request to be annexed. It's even rarer for the answer to that question to be no. But when the Mongolian People's Republic asked the USSR several times to be incorporated into it, the answer was always that. Which raises the obvious question. Why? Why did the USSR refuse to annex Mongolia? First, it should be noted just how an independent Mongolia came to be and the USSR's role in that. As many of you will know, Mongolia was a part of China under the Qing dynasty. That wasn't until it all, to use a technical term, went to hell and Mongolia declared its independence in 1911. It was briefly reincorporated into the new Republic of China in 1919 before declaring its independence again 2 years later. At this point, the Russian Civil War was well underway and it soon spilled over into Mongolia and it was occupied by communist troops. Now, the new USSR did agree with the Chinese that Mongolia was still a rightful part of China. After a series of talks in 1924, the Soviets agreed to withdraw. But the timetable for this would be set at another meeting, except for one issue. The USSR was now under new mustachioed leadership who simply opted to postpone the meeting to Monday the 4th of Never and then created a communist government in Mongolia. From its inception, Communist Mongolia was a Soviet puppet state. However, unlike its neighbour to the north, the Tuvan People's Republic, Mongolia wasn't annexed into the USSR. And the primary reason for this was to avoid war both with China and also Japan. From 1952 onwards, Mongolia was ruled by a man called Yumjaglin Sedambal. Look, I'm not even going to pretend that pronunciation was any good. Sedambal, over the course of his premiership, asked to be incorporated into the USSR at least 6 times, and each and every time the answer was no. So why? Well, it was down to the fact that the USSR could get everything it wanted from Mongolia without any sort of negatives that would come from annexing it. Also, when you look at all of the states that the USSR did annex, they were by and large all former parts of the Russian Empire, and annexing states from outside of these borders wasn't something any Soviet leaders were interested in, largely because the USSR wanted to cultivate an international reputation of being anti-imperialist, and pinching neighbours didn't fit with that. Mongolia's economy had largely been built by the USSR to serve the needs of Moscow, and Mongolia was incorporated into the Soviet economy nearly to the same extent as, say, Kazakhstan or Uzbekistan. It's just that having it as a nominally independent nation would spare the upset of the USSR's valuable Chinese allies to the south. And also, it was a card that the USSR always wanted to hold in case it needed diplomatic leverage with the Chinese. Theoretically, the status of Mongolia could always be settled at a later date and always in China's favour if the right situation ever arose. Which is why, despite Mongolia's asking, the USSR always refused to annex it. Mongolia was already giving it everything that it wanted. I hope you enjoyed this episode and thank you for watching, with a special thanks to my patrons James Bizanet, Kelly Moneymaker, Danny Maloney, Marvin Cassow, The Pastry Section, Rob Waterhouse, Mo, Aaron the White, James Castaneda, Jordan Longley, Gustav Swan, Marcus Arsner, Jerry Landen, Rashid Ali, Colin Castleman, Spinning 3 Plates, David Silverman, Maggie Paxkowski, Coppertone, Izzy, Spencer Lightfoot, Fobojo, Matthew Shipley, Robert Wetzel, Lexi Schwinn and Winston Kaywood.